Now, for more on the impact of these tariffs on the steel industry, I'm joined live by Keanin Loomis. He's the president and CEO of the Canadian Institute of Steel Construction. Keanin, thanks for being with us tonight. How serious are these tariffs for Canada's steel industry?
Matt, these are really serious for Canada's steel industry. I'm particularly worried about the steel producers. You know, over 4 decades of free trade, we have developed our really good, niches in the industry, in the supply chain. Comparative advantage is the whole purpose of free trade. So, Dofasco, Stelco, they supply into the North American automobile industry. They can for food products and all of that. And on the other hand, we buy I-beams. So behind me, I'm in beautiful BC visiting one of my members here, talking to an American audience at a conference on Friday. And these beams they come from the United States. So we've had a very, very balanced trade relationship with the United States when it comes to steel. And unfortunately, that's all been upended.
When you say serious, are we talking job losses? Are we talking Canadian companies going out of business?
That could very well be the case. In speaking with some of the steel producers, Dofasco in particular, I know they've done everything they can to avoid job losses. The workforce in our industry, that's part of the family. It's highly skilled. You can't just get these people back when you let them go. It's really hard. And so they've done everything they can, but this is just going to complicate things even further and probably diminish the amount of steel that they are selling into the U.S. So, of course, there could be job losses.
There have been calls for equal and retaliatory tariffs from the Canadian government. What do you think should be done in response to these doubling of tariffs by Trump?
Yeah, we definitely have to hit back hard. We voluntarily dropped some of our retaliatory tariffs a couple months ago. That didn't buy us any goodwill at all. So I appreciate the Premier talking as he did about perhaps revisiting the tariff on electricity into the U.S. We need to see a plan from Ottawa. We haven't thus far. Some of our concerns have gone unaddressed thus far. And we need to talk about domestic procurement across the country and then within the provincial governments as well. People are talking about it, premiers are talking about it, the Prime Minister is talking about it, but it comes down to how do we put this in practice? So that's a big issue, and we need to harden our borders against Chinese steel. If that's the real issue that the Americans are concerned about, we share that concern, because that is unfairly dumped steel into this market. It is threatening our steel producers just as it's threatening the U.S. steel producers. So we can go a long way. The U.S. has hardened their borders, but the fear is that is now looking for other markets, either in Canada or Mexico. We need to be certain, and the Americans need to feel confident that we are not a transshipment point for Chinese steel.
Since you bring that up, in Trump's proclamation on this, he says that this is to combat foreign countries dumping excess steel into the American market. Is Canada doing that? We are
trying not to. I think we need to do a better job for sure in shoring up our borders and our enforcement. There's always more room to grow there. But we had been talking, so we levied tariffs against Chinese steel last summer in concert with the U.S. We're willing to do everything the U.S. Wants to do when it comes to Chinese steel and creating a fortress North America. So this is the most frustrating thing. We've indicated that we are willing to play ball here. We share your concerns. So why, when we did have a contract, as the Premier just said, why would you hit Canadian steel, your closest neighbor, your ally, and disrupt the North American supply chain? So remember, this is going to cause huge disruptions, has caused huge disruptions in the U.S. as well. More job losses there than there have been in Canada.
That's the president and CEO of the Canadian Institute of Steel Construction, Keanin Loomis. Keanin, thanks so much for giving us some of your time tonight.
Thanks, Matt.